Hi, welcome to Virtual Farm Science Review. We're out here doing hay demos today. My name is Christine Gelley from OSU Extension.
And I'm Brent Raines from the Krone Company from Olive Branch, Mississippi.
Together, Brent and I are going to talk about some educational components of making hay. And first things first, we're going to talk about cutting height. Cutting height is very important both for good quality forage and maintaining your equipment. Brent, you've brought along a few different knives as well as an example to show us how to angle the cutter bar for best results.
I have, Christine. This is a profile of a cutter bar, a typical design of a cutter bar that's used in the industry today. And you'll notice it's kind of a wedge type profile. Ideally, you want to run that cutter bar through the field as level as possible. You don't want to run it down on the nose. You don't want to run it back on the heel, because what that's going to do is it's going to increase your horsepower requirement. You want to move that crop across the cutting disc and out the back of the machine or into the conditioning medium as smoothly as possible. If we're talking about stubble height, most universities, including the Ohio State University, recommend a stubble height of approximately 3 inches. And that's a really good place to start. The way that we do that is you can do a little bit of adjustment with your cutter bar adjustment on your machine, but you want to use what's called a high cut skid. And what that skid does is it clips on the front of your mower conditioner and it bolts through the back, and that will raise your cutter bar approximately 1 to 3 inches to give you that 3 to 5 cutting height that you want to do. One thing that's you may have to go with a higher cut skid shoe if you're doing a sorghum Sudan or a sorghum type crop, especially where nitrate is going to be a concern that's migrating up into the stalk due to the weather conditions. So the cutting skid and the skid shoe will allow you to still run your cutter bar at a smooth, level profile through the field.
Indeed it will, and that's going to benefit plant health overall. You'll have better stand regrowth if your cutting height is appropriate, a denser stand, and less weed competition as well. Now another important thing is having good, sharp knives on your cutter bar. Right, you brought up two different kinds.
I did. I brought a cutting knife off of a machine that was actually running, and you can see the guy had some issues with streaking, and he was complaining about the quality of the cut. And you can see right here, Christine, by just comparing these two, what the difference was. And
yeah,
I wonder why it wouldn't cut, huh? So one thing that we have here in the Great Lakes states, especially here in Ohio, is we have a very diverse mix of geography. And like where we're mowing here near London, Ohio today, it's flat as can be. We go about 60 miles east of here and we start getting into the hill country, and things are a little bit serious. A lot of reclaimed coal mine ground over in eastern Ohio down along the river. And we have customers that have more challenging conditions, so they're concerned they have a lot of stones. Or maybe you mentioned some where the creek came up, and there may be some debris that came up and the creek went back down. We have 2 blade options that are available. We have a regular updraft blade, which has a tapered angle to it that is reversible, and that will allow you, that gives you some lift. That gives you almost like a big vacuum going through your field. The thing that may do, depending on your crop, is ash content is going to be a big thing that Christine and I are going to talk about here in just a minute. But maybe if you're worried about ash content and or stones, you have more challenging conditioning, you may want to go with what we call a roof-shaped blade. This blade is inherently stronger. You'll notice the top of the blade is flat, and then the edges come down. So we don't get as much lift with that. We won't get as pretty a cut with this as we will with the updraft lawnmower style blade, as you will. But it will take some of the banging and bruising that sometimes the stones and the rougher conditions bring out.
Still certainly make you change knives less frequently.
You change knives less frequently, that's right.
And I've been watching you guys do hay demos all morning. You do have a quick change knife system, which
Yep.
is convenient.
That's right, and that will allow you to change the blade when you should, not when you have to. When we just strictly stick in a tool that kind of looks like a golf club, and we stick it in underneath the cutting turtle, pry down, slip the new knife in, and you're back in business. So it's done when it should be done instead of when I absolutely positively have to do it. So it makes for a much better quality cut.
That's
And better
one of the
regrowth.
things.
Better
Yeah,
regrowth.
definitely better regrowth, healthier stand. The cleaner your cut is, the easier it's going to be for your plant to grow back. And the cleaner the cut is, the less likely you'll have entry of pathogens.